Mic and music check. Welcome one and all to the Damn Show, or the Dungeon Alchemist Mapmaking Show, as we call it. Voice okay? Music okay? Good. Good to hear it. How you doing, Seisu? How's things? Since we're good on voice and music, we're going to just jump over and do a video check. Oh, you're on your vacation, I see. Hey, Atlam, how are you? Welcome back. Hey, Chim, how are things going? Hey, Jack. How you doing, man? Welcome back. Hey, Island Lass, Arthritic One. Wow, we got a good turnout today, right off the bat. Well, welcome back, one and all. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Today's stream is titled the Dungeon Alchemist Mapmaking Show. It's a variety stream where we have several segments that we cover kind of in rapid succession over a 2.5 hour period of time. I would like to share with you today our itinerary. Just give me one moment here. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Stand by. Blue Mage, hello, welcome back. So, oh no. No, that's the wrong one. One moment. I thought I uploaded the new one. I could have sworn I did, but I guess I made a mistake. Stand by. Give me just 20 seconds. Need to figure out where it is. Oh, here it is. You know, I'll just open it on this screen to save time, because that way I don't have to make it like in the overlay, though I thought I did that already earlier, but I guess I did not. Stand by. Here's our itinerary for today. Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Everything's blank. Give me 1 second. There it is. I am having some problems, some struggles today. Technical ones. My apologies for that. So, our itinerary for today, there isn't a whole lot of news because most of the team is out of the office on winter vacation right now. I'm like the only one who's still in the office at the moment. Though I did enjoy Christmas with the family. You know, had some time off the last few days. There's no YouTube stream. Weird. Should be one. Give it a moment. We'll see. Sometimes it takes a moment for them to initialize, so to speak. I do have YouTube. I do have TikTok. Well, no, I have TikTok. I have Twitch. Let me check YouTube really quick. I do have a YouTube stream right now. It is, in fact, working. Maybe refresh our main page. Sorry about that, tropism. So the only news I really have at the moment is that Dungeon Alchemist is on sale for 20% off with the Steam Winter Sale. So it's a great deal if you are if you've been kind of sitting on the fence waiting to buy it. Now's the time to invest in a copy. Or if you already have a copy and maybe you have a player who's a fledgling DM or friend or family member who might be interested in map making or starting their own campaign, it's a great time to gift a copy. Hey, Anani, welcome. So Dungeon Alchemist is currently 20% off through the Steam Winter Sale. Let's take a look at that actually really quickly. Depending on your region, the price will vary. But in the US, here, let me mute this so we don't get a, oh, there, it's muted. Look at that inception of Macception. It is $35.99 at the moment. Not bad at all. All right. Let us move on from, oh, wait. I had the itinerary open for a reason. What is wrong with me today? After our news segment, which is quite short, we're going to go into the damn challenge. So we're probably going into the damn challenge immediately because there's really no news today. The damn question segment also light today from at least our social media. If you have any questions for us today on the stream, please save them for this segment and then we'll cover them then. If you cannot stay for this segment, let me know in chat and I'll try and address your question right away. For our workshop segment today, we're going to be just showcasing ruins. I think ruins are a fun, kind of interesting setting for battle maps and campsites, etc. Excuse me. Had some coffee before the stream. Getting a little bit of a blowback from that. Anyway, ultimately, I think ruins are a great setting for combat, for exploration, etc. And then lastly, we'll be discussing a feature that is often overlooked, and it's relatively new to Dungeon Alchemist. It's only been added in like the last year and a half. It is overlays and tracing. So we're going to discuss that at length a little bit later today. All right, everyone. Okay, so as I said earlier, there really is no news or kind of teasers or sneak peeks. I do have some older ones from previous weeks. If anyone's interested, I can open one up. We could take a look. That being said, because everyone's out of the office right now, there really isn't anything new. So here we have our Plague Doctor assets, which will be in the next update, Fun with Objects Part 2. Some of the assets you see in here are regular, normal assets, but some of them are definitely new. We got the Plague Doctor mask, syringes, toolkit. This cadaver is definitely really gross. Ruins are really important, I think. So thank you for taking note of that. Let's get that marquee back on. And now that we've covered news at length, there really is none today. I'm sorry, I wish I had some. We'll jump into the damn challenge. I'm going to show some teasers from the last couple weeks and then we'll move on. Just in case you missed out, maybe you were traveling or whatever. This one's pretty cool. Custom headstones. So in the next update, you'll be able to add text to headstones. And there's several fonts and colors, and you can adjust the size. This will be great for, custom. Interesting, Tropism. I didn't know that. Honestly, streaming is kind of Twitch's niche. You know what I mean? That's kind of all they do. YouTube does it as a secondary thing. Same with, TikTok. And so while we stream on those platforms, I definitely think Twitch is kind of the primary where we have the most viewers, the most interaction. You know what I mean? I do think this is a neat feature, though. Like, being able to customize graves is very cool. Before, to do this required, some graphic editing, like the ability to do some graphic design and then edit some, those designs to fit very specific, like, abstract objects that allowed you to insert text on things in a way. But now it's much more custom. Also, modular statues are on their way. So if you are interested in having some statue variety, it will finally be happening, and a lot of different deities and, you know, all sorts of stuff represented in this. Dennis over on Facebook, thank you for the like, much appreciated. Turn down that music. I feel like it's a little too loud. Right, Gamroot? Isn't it pretty cool? Like all the different varieties. So it'll be like an object that you can shuffle through all the prefabs, essentially. And then, of course, a very big thing, objects, you know, rotating at any axis, but also stacking in that perceived axis. So there's a lot of little stuff on the horizon for Dungeon Alchemist with our next update in particular, which I'm hoping will be in the next, you know, 3 or 4 months, if all goes well. Okay, so I know many of you that'd be a funny commercial, wouldn't it? I really want to share this with the devs and just express my irritation over it, because this light is not even on that level. It's down 2 levels. I have to turn the light so far down that it like can't even be visible because it leaks through and bleeds on these like floors. Frustrating. Dirty Rollers, how you doing, my friend? Ow. It's extra eerie. Yeah, I probably could, but it's just like I shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? Neither should you. This shouldn't leak through this tiny little millimeter seam along the, you know, ceiling and the wall. Just gonna set it to day and pretend that doesn't exist. Oh, you can even see it in the day. Oh my. Anyway, luckily we're not spending time on this map till Monday again, so we're gonna move on from this. This is our Mapmaker Monday build that we're currently working on. Temple Ruins, which we'll discuss ruins more at length later. Probably come back up again. Let's dive into the Dam Challenge, which I'm sure many of you are waiting for. We had some really interesting entries this week, or this, you know, in this challenge, and I think given the holiday season, you know, all the different events and travel and whatnot, I feel like, you know, there probably wasn't as many entries as there could have been. I'm not, you know, upset about that. I just, you know, it's I'm hoping that because we're going to shorter segments that it's not because of that, you know, that we're getting less entries. I do feel like a lot of it is, you know, it's that time of year. People are busy with family and friends and traveling. I really enjoyed your map, Blue Mage. So, let's dive into our damn challenge segment, which the theme was "'Tis the Season." And honestly, pretty much every entry, I mean, all of them were fantastic. I don't know why I said pretty much. I mean, all of them were just lovely and encapsulated the theme really well. But I gotta say, I was just so enamored with Chim's build. So, Chim, congratulations. You won the "'Tis the Season" Dam Challenge. And I gotta say, I'm really excited to share your map with the stream because you did a really good job shaping the structure of, you know, not only like the flooring and the rooms, but also decorating and kind of like interior floor placement is top notch as well. My favorite was the grand piano overlooking the Christmas tree on the balcony. Lilandra, how are you? I missed you around these parts. Hope you're well, and I'm glad you're busy. But also, you know, make sure you get some you time in there, just for you. And no worries. I understand this time of year, people are very busy with work, you know, shopping, hobbies, family, etc. Whoa, the signal cut up for a second there. It was the Elgato tripping out there. Interesting. Huh. Seems like every time I move, trips out. It's been doing that a lot. Thank you for letting me know. That's something I should know. Great. This is a brand new Elgato, so it better not be doing that a lot. Literally just got it like 2 months ago. Stand by. Huh. Seems fine now. Has it done it in the last minute or so? Nope, just did it again. Something's up. Give me just 1 minute. It's not the browser, it's my capture card crashing. I can see it. So I just reset it. Well, that's no good. Give me a moment. I'm gonna go wiggle all the cables. My capture card keeps crashing. I'm watching it right now. I just wiggled all the cables. I have like an HDMI switcher, and it looks like it hasn't done it since I've done that. Damn it. I did it right as I crossed my fingers. Give me just a moment, everyone. I'm so sorry. Okay, I hope I fixed it. There was an HDMI cable on the back of my PC that was ever so loose. Hold on one moment. Hey, back. Come on, kitty. We got a special guest. One moment. Hi. He was mewing at the door. This is a good baby. My kitty. Oh, don't be sharps. It's my neck. How's my baby? He's a good baby. He was just yelling at my door, so. Oh no! Oh, thought I had fixed it because it hadn't done it. Just started doing it again. This is a brand new capture card on a brand new PC. The splitter is brand new. Everything is brand new, so this is frustrating. Yeah, I thought a cable was loose. I just shifted it back into place. All the cables are brand new. I just changed them out yesterday. That's insane, right? So maybe one of them is bad. Ow. Okay, kitty, I gotta set you down. Dad's gotta do work, okay? Ow. Ow. Oh. This is so infuriating how random it is. So the black screen, hey Joe, how you doing? Is my capture card crashing? I don't know if you see it, but it says Elgato when it crashes. Nice, Bruce. Glad they liked it. I'm glad they liked it. Sorry, we're having some technical issues today. I might have to cancel today's stream and sort this out. I'm not sure what's going on. I've tried all my like normal things to fix it, but it keeps having issues. But if you look at it, it just says no signal Elgato. That's my Elgato capture card having problems. Something's wrong. Right, I'm just trying to reset a few things. Trying to turn it off and on again. You know what I mean? So to speak. See if it fixes it. Problem is, it's an internal card. I can't do that without restarting the PC. So I have to kind of restart it in the stream software. Sorry, everyone, for the technical difficulties. So, Bruce, I'm really glad your party enjoyed the glass desert. I'm glad that the idea worked. That was a really clever workaround we came up with. I think what I don't want to jinx myself, but it hasn't done it since I did the stuff I did. I kind of just messed with some settings and flicked them off and on because I figured that would reset the card. Yeah, the card's not loose. I checked the cables. There was one that was loose, but I plugged it all in. Everything should be good at the moment. I've already checked the cables. But tell me, has it done it in the last minute or so? I think one of the settings was weird for the new cable or the new switch. So I got a new HDMI switcher and some new HDMI cables because I got a new Xbox for Christmas. My Xbox died like 2 months ago while I was gaming with my friends. And I've been trying to play the same game on PC, but it just doesn't feel the same. So, anyway, my missus and my son surprised me with an Xbox. But I also thought, well, what if something was wrong in all the cabling that caused this? So I just replaced everything. I got a whole bunch of new HDMI cables and a new HDMI splitter. My old HDMI splitter was like ran into an extension and had a bunch of cables running into it. All of those got swapped out. So I'm like wondering what the heck's going on. You see an image with a building of a piano, then that's good. That's exactly what you're supposed to see for right now. We are good. Everything appears to be working. So we'll fingers crossed, knock on wood. We'll do here, let me spin around. If I had some salt to throw over my shoulder, we do that. Okay. So we're good on all platforms, it looks like. We're gonna just keep going and hopefully enjoy the rest of the stream. I was worried we'd have to cut it short because it just kept crashing. It wasn't my stream software, it was hardware. Hey, Arthritic One, thank you. Happy holidays to you. In fact, happy holidays to everyone here. I hope you have had, an amazing holiday week or, whatever holiday you celebrate this time of year. If none, I hope you've enjoyed, getting some time off, usually because almost everyone does. That being said, I just want to say how grateful I am for our community and that I love how like creative and unique each and every one of you are. So many fun maps, interesting assets, all just mind-blowing creativity and just style. You know what I mean? I do love like browsing all your maps on the workshop and checking them out. Um, and that's part of the reason I love the Dam Challenge so much too. Getting to see the creativity of each and every one of you who, spends the time to build a map and submit them. This map here, just honestly, like I loved it. Everything about it was just like it felt like I was looking at Santa's like house, Santa's castle or something. Anyway, you've got like a one thing that kind of had me worried was the cage by the playground, but I'll drop it. I don't know. But what I really loved was the curvy rooms, all the windows, right? The little plushy, like, I'm not sure what this is. An effigy? It was so interesting. The map made me like just smile and also laugh a few times. The mirror room, because Santa definitely would have a mirror room, right? I think my favorite though was the grand piano overlooking the just beautiful like first floor setup for the Christmas tree. I know you were like, honestly, this just looks like the perfect place for a holiday bash. You know what I mean? What do you mean by SP? Arthritic one? Sorry, I'm lost on that reference there. Luminescence? Yeah, I think you got it right. No abstracts hiding, so it looks like just this workshop asset kind of had some lighting to it. Let's check out. Got a little kind of kitchen pantry area, right? You can see there's some downstairs below. Maybe we should go check it out. Whoop. This map is called Purdy and Pink's Holiday Party. Honestly, I don't think it's Santa's place for real. It just kind of gave off those vibes. You know what I mean? But then you got like the sleigh on top and all the toys. So, you know, it could very easily be. Jim, what's your input on this? I know, but I like asking you here. You're here, and I figure people in chat would like to know. Not everyone's a member of our Discord. Here, I'll share a few things. This was one of the images she shared with it, and it's like a little invitation with all the festivities. She definitely put a lot of effort into the various, you know, aspects behind the scenes too. But it's cool because it comes with like a whole bunch of accompanying data if you want to run like a, you know, a one shot or a three shot or something with your group. Yeah, nice attempt at a module. A lot of accompanying data. This one made me smile, Mr. Octopus. Oh, excuse me. It was up till the wee hours of the morning playing Battlefield. Because it was my first time in a couple of days to hop on and play. Got a brand new Xbox, couldn't even touch it for like 3 days. Or 2 days. Yeah, I shared the title with Lizzie earlier. I definitely saw her message. Thank you, though. Appreciate that. How long do you think you put into this map, Jim? Too bad we don't have all the tokens. No worries, Atlam. I'm glad you caught it too. Just in case I missed it, it's always good to check, you know? I did, Anani, I did. So, oh no, it just did it again, didn't it? I saw it. It's the first time it's done it in like 10 minutes. Think good thoughts. Oh, Highland Lass, I didn't realize that you weren't playing because of a loss of a friend. That, you know, it's cool that you hop back on though. But I can understand. At any given point, those cables don't see that. Only one feed passes through on my end. Every display has a separate cable. So it has to be one of those cables or the Elgato. But the Elgato's brand new. I just got it, which is insane. I literally installed it in this machine like less than a month ago. It only did it for a split second. Luckily, it hasn't done it since, but let's not dwell on it. I also really like the red candles. Like going out of your way to make sure the candles were all red is good. Nice fit. And that poinsettia. I have a couple spares. I'll probably just swap it out after the stream. But the thing is I was just fine testing it yesterday. I don't know. But I have some spares. I've learned in my streaming that like it's good to have backups of things just in case things fail. Of like critical components. Yeah, I know tropism. I know. I'm aware, and I'm not trying to sound like a know-it-all, but I did spend years and years selling like home entertainment equipment and installing it, and also doing computer sales and that stuff too, and building computers. I built my own for years, and like I understand them, but at the same time, it's hard to troubleshoot while I'm live. So I definitely get that there are some that aren't rated as high as others, but I went with everything rated for 8K, 120, like really high bit rates, gold pins, everything good. And then I'm only running 4K at highest with 60 FPS. So I don't know why it's having any issues. See, there we go again. I think it's the capture card itself. If it just blinked, that could be a cable. I don't know. I'll have to play around with it after the stream. It's frustrating as all, though. Feel bad because it's taken away from the stream, and there's not much I can do about it, short of shutting down the stream, restarting it all, which is a pain in the butt. Take me 10-20 minutes just to do that, because all the stream software isn't just something you can click and go. There's a bunch of little configurations and settings. Anyway. Well, that's awesome, Tropism. How long you been doing that? Tech is so awesome, but also so frustrating nowadays. Like, it can do so many things, but it also just like seems so half baked half the time. Like, so quarter baked, you might say. Like, there's so many things that just like you buy it, it doesn't come with a manual, or like customer support for it's minimal. And then you figure it out and you kind of learn it, but then it doesn't work as expected. But these capture cards are usually pretty good. VRR, I'm not sure where I might check that setting. Would that be in my Streamlabs? Would that be in my Elgato settings? I'm not familiar with that setting right off the bat. Looking in the settings here, not seeing VRR. I'm going to try something really quick. So it was broadcasting at a much higher signal rate than I normally set it to me. Huh. What I'll probably do is troubleshoot it a bit more after the stream. Maybe run like a dummy stream tomorrow or tonight. We'll just do some tests and see what we can come up with. But it could be something as simple as just restarting my PC, which I did earlier today, but something could be just buggy. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking the capture card is like puttering out. This is not a normal behavior. Also, I used it all day yesterday, like testing it and running games, and it didn't have any trouble until we were streaming. And it's the same exact card running everything. So, I don't know. Weird. Part of me may have to thinking I need to remove the capture card from this and then reactivate it. We'll see. Nice. Yeah, they're pretty good. And it's under warranty, if anything, but it's not like I can send it out and be without it. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you. This is frustrating as all, though. Let's move on to another map, though. Congratulations, Chim, and I'm sorry the technical difficulties have been drawing away from your amazing map. Unsupported resolution. This is like a resolution I always run. That's the thing. Nothing's changed. I'm thinking the splitter or the Elgato is having trouble. I haven't had a chance to watch the video, Chim, because I've had holiday stuff going on, friends, family, and whatnot. So that was a little bit more than I had time for this week. Now I'm dealing with the stream crashing one every 30 seconds. I am not having the best day at the moment. I apologize, everyone. Really trying to figure out what's going on here. A variable rate. Gotcha. I'm looking here. This is insane. Like constant. You know what I mean? Trying to see if I can find anything akin to what you're saying here. Did I sing what? I'm leaning towards something's wrong with the splitter or possibly even the Elgato capture card. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chim, too. Honestly, we should be focusing on the maps, but the stream is being uncooperative. I apologize, everyone. I don't know what's going on. We're going to try and show a couple more damn challenge maps, and we're probably going to wrap up the stream so I can figure this out. Trying to look that up right now. Where the heck is this? I don't know what I changed, but it's okay. I was just clicking things randomly. I've got a link for it later. I'll check it out. It's the weird part is it being so inconsistent. So this map was made by Lord Rev, if I recall correctly. Yep, it is. And it's a lovely little tavern and inn. I really enjoyed this balcony here. Though it'd probably be freezing this time of year. I like the little staggered roofing here. Perfect for the water to just run right off onto the balcony. No, that's just our roofing mechanics being wonky. It does look like a cozy little inn, perfect for, a nice little pit stop for your players. Ugh. It's all decorated for the season. Kind of feel like he had this in already and just threw some threw some decorations in it. No, I'm just kidding. This is a perfect example though of like a lovely just little encounter map that your players can experience maybe once or twice and call it. I also was curious about why there's indoor lavatories, but also an outdoor one. That's for the really bad customers. Sometimes you have to take a number 3. Oh my. That's discriminatory at best. I didn't know Faerun was so racist. I'm just kidding. I'm sure that there's a lot of discrimination in Faerun, it feels like. Goodness. So, Lizzie, if we get time in our question segment, we'll cover your question that you asked earlier, okay? So keep it on your mind, and when we get to that, we'll try and address it. I do feel like the Drow get the most of it, man. When I was playing Baldur's Gate, the Drow seemed to be hated by everyone. Right? There's like little footpaths and whatnot around. What are they doing up here? Right? Don't they look good? The Dwergar are the baddies in your campaign, huh, Tropism? Is anyone in out here playing or running a campaign that is designated kind of a certain monster as a baddie? Like they're evil, no questions asked. I only ask because it seems like in most campaigns nowadays, like any any monster or any whatever fantasy race can be a good guy or a bad guy. So it's kind of interesting how often you'll run into, groups of, say, certain monsters and you're not sure if they're bad or not anymore. So you kind of have to try and negotiate or discern if they're bad before you, maybe take them out. So undead are generally just the bad in your campaign, Seisu? Yeah, we do need to start talking ideas for the next Dam challenge, though we can discuss that through the end of the stream. Interesting, Blue Mage. That's cool. Oh, dang, Shlomo. That sounds cool. Tropism, that's like Avatar. Humans are usually the bad guys in almost any story. I mean, look at most movies. You watch a detective film, who's the bad guy in it? Humans. Hello. 99 times out of 100. Yeah, there's all sorts of little hidden stuff on this map, huh, Liz? Let's move on to the next one. Really good job on this one, Lord Rev. It's just such a cozy map for sure. I could see this being used on a lot of different tables. Such a universal build. This next one's from Highland Lass, Trow Hall. Oh my goodness. Hasn't done it in a hot minute. This is infuriating me. Like, I go through great lengths to make sure my stream and production is good. So I'm like, what is going on? Might as well be a radio show at this point. Yeah. It has something to do with the frame rate of DA. This is just the desktop on that same screen. This is nothing else. That's it. But watch, I'm sure as soon as I move DA over, it'll start doing it. No, and neither was this one. They're both small. Second I move it over, it stops. I feel like it has something to do with DA. Give me a moment. Stand by. Let me restart DA. It's not doing it the second I move DA to another screen. But the capture card's on a separate computer than DA is. So somewhere between the signal and the capture card, something's up. It's weird, right, Anani? That's why I'm frustrated. So I have stream computer and DA computer. The DA computer is not doing anything wrong. It's not flashing or having any problems. This is happening only on the stream, and it shows the Elgato stuff. So it leans you into thinking, oh, this is the Elgato, right? This is something up. Because it keeps showing the Elgato frame, right? But then the second I pull DA off that screen and move it to another display, totally fine. I wonder if there was an update to Elgato that caused something, but it also could be some of the new hardware I put in, like all the new cables and stuff. It's frustrating, man. We're gonna load DA. It is weird. I'm gonna be dealing with it probably for hours. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's doing it again. It's possible. Because it's only bad on this one input, it's leading to me to believe it's either the switcher is bad on its input or the cable is bad on its input. That or the Elgato is just dying. Now you have no signal at all. It's slowly coming back. That same map is up on another monitor. The other map, if anything, is bigger. Well, I've been playing with different settings, trying to adjust things. So yeah, the brightness was going all over the place. Yeah, it's frustrating. Give me a minute. I don't think it has anything to do with the map, but more the frame rate that the map's running at when it goes out and into another cable. Give me a minute, guys. Fingers crossed. I just swapped out the cable. Like, I crawled all over under my desk and swapped it out. It was desks, I should say. Hope you can hear me right now. Honestly, I'm starting to think it was the cable. I'm really sorry, everyone. Something was up, but I just put a brand new cable in there, so I think the cable was just dead. Out the box, just a bad cable. That happens sometimes, but it's so rare. You know what I mean? And it's like, we went through and tested a ton of different things, and it just led me back to it every time. That or the capture card, which is also new. And I refuse to believe like a $200-300 capture card died in 2 months. So, my apologies for the technical difficulties. I hope everything is working now. I hope I haven't jinxed myself. Whew, talk about frustrating. This map is quite wonderful. Highland Lass always builds just such delightful maps. Oh, I didn't make this. Did it crash already again? But I had a brand new cable, so I'm hoping it works. Hey, AJ, if you're still there, man, you know, you can always get a new campaign off the ground. Just because one's kind of at its end doesn't mean it's over for you. You know what I mean? Nope. No roof. Now that the stream's just working, we can try and get through our itinerary as normal. Atlam, will you DM me if it does the Elgato thing again? Just so I know. Isn't kind of like Viking graffiti some of like the best like markers for time frames and stuff too? And it's all over the world, so you know they've been a lot of different places. The Viking snowman gets me, sends me, if you will. Glad we're finally able to look at your map. Right? This little Viking snowman cracks me up. Nice little mix of ice, you know, kind of pattern peppered in there. I swear there's Viking graffiti like all over the world though. There's some in the US, there's some like I feel like there's some in like Israel and stuff. You know, Remy, yeah, that would be awesome. For now, obviously we have rocks and stuff and can cover things with like terrain and whatnot. But it would be cool to envelop the ground over the, you know, the ceiling and make like a hobbit home or something. For sure. How have you been, by the way? What's new with you? Oh, for sure. They had some of the most like intricate like charting and mapping and understanding of the stars and like early compasses. Not to mention just like their relationship with the water and boating in general. They just really love to explore and find new places. Hey, Trim, welcome back. I hope for the same for you as well. I hope you have a happy holidays, my friend. I had a wonderful time with my family. We got some relaxation. And like I got a surprise gift or two I wasn't expecting. So like I got a gift I was expecting, which was some new tools. My wife was wanting to get me some power tools that are like battery powered because I built like a bunch of stuff over the summer and she saw me struggling with cords and extension cords getting in the way and she's like, I want to get you some battery powered tools. I was like, okay. So we found like a little set, got me it. I knew I was getting that. So I was like, you know, resigned to what I was getting for Christmas. And then I opened up a present under the tree that I wasn't expecting. It was a brand new Xbox. My Xbox had been dead for a few months now. Just died in the middle of a game session. It was quite depressing. Yeah, they basically were Star Trek before Star Trek. But I don't think they had an initiative to like, what do they call it in Star Trek where they don't interfere with anyone? But got myself a new Xbox. Got most of my games installed back on it. The essentials, you know, Battlefield, Baldur's Gate, Skate, Prime Directive. That's the term I was going for. Look at you, a bunch of Star Trek nerds in here. Fantastic. I think you did a lovely job on this, though, Highland Lass. And I love how you always will take like a historical inspiration and incorporate it into your map. I was very surprised with the presents I got, but I got like this little kit of tools. They're like Cobalt. I don't really care about all the brands. You know, I know some people will be like, oh, I swear by DeWalt or Milwaukee or Ryobi. I feel like those are just kind of like sports ball teams for dads that like tools. And they're almost approximately all the same parts inside. Like some are a little bit better than others, don't get me wrong. But like I essentially don't care as long as it does the job. I bought a like a Black & Decker corded drill when my son was like a baby, and I've been using it for 20 years, and the clutch in it only just started going out. So it's like, I mean, I was like $25, I think, when I bought it. So I think just based on my need, I don't need, like, I'm not a construction worker. I'm not, you know, a blue collar guy. I just do projects around the house. So I got like a little Cobalt set, and it came with a battery and like a drill and an impact driver and a, what is it called? What are they called? Reciprocating saw. And then the missus also got me a little like a powered socket, like a powered like socket wrench. And honestly, like, dang, I got to use that first day. My son got a new monitor for Christmas because his other one died. And I found a good deal on one on Amazon, got it for him. And I had to pull his monitor mount off and kind of reposition it to get a better angle. And also one of the screws on his monitor mount had broken. So we replaced it. And so I got to use my new drill and my new powered socket right away. And that thing was epic. Tropism, this thing is insane. Honestly, like, dang, dude, fantastic build on this. Tons of hand placed art, like artistic work. Highland Lass, I'm so sorry. Because of all the technical difficulties, I have to rush through the rest of these maps today. I just don't have time to go through them. We spent 30 minutes trying to fix the stream, maybe even more, close to an hour. And I'm so sorry. I just want to be able to feature everyone's map. But take a note, everyone. Highland Lass had some underground areas to check out in her map. Please, please, please make sure you take a tour in the underground areas. I really love this like geometry here. And then the use of all the moon gates. I'm so sorry. I honestly just have to try and get as much as I can in before the end of the stream. H.R. Geiger. Interesting, yeah. It's sort of Lovecraftian in a way. You know what? After this one, we'll take a closer look, okay? I apologize. I didn't mean to, skip over the best part of your work there. So we'll take a look at the underground area if there's time, okay? I just wanted to be able to feature everyone's map. And like, I feel like I didn't even give Chim a good like review of her map, to be honest, because I spent half the time trying to fix things. So I feel bad to everyone today that it kind of was just butchered and hijacked by technical difficulties. I really like this area right here. It reminds me of looking down those like kaleidoscope things as a kid, where it was just like, woo! Or like those infinity lamps, right? Kind of gives off those vibes. The elder brain up in here, just doing the elder brain things. Jump. Ah. Almost made it. Anyway. Yeah, that's a bummer, but it's a really cool map. Look at the sign. Where's the sign? Is it inside or outside? Oh, there. That sign? I see it. That one. Free puppies. Friends, if an elder brain is trying to lure you in to their fourth dimensional hideout, please do not believe when they say they have free puppies. Brain puppies. The way they're floating, though, reminds me of Futurama a little bit. We are the brains. They're absorbing everything. Alrighty, got to move on to the next map. Fantastic build, though, Tropism. Really mind-bending, to be honest with you. Kind of gave me a headache a couple times. Hey, Cobra, how you been? Welcome back. Hope you had an amazing holiday. Is everyone kind of getting ready for the new year? You know, it's funny about the technical difficulties. Earlier on this monitor, I'd see a slight flicker every once in a while, and I was wondering what it was. And then I had a browser window up with like a bunch of tabs. And on like every tab, it looked fine, but on one of them, it was the Streamlabs website. It would flicker a lot, and like lots of colors would be happening. And I thought, man, there must be a loose cable or something. So I went and like messed with it, and then I moved the window and didn't think anything of it because I didn't see it in DA or anything anymore. But then before it started like crashing a bunch, I would see the flicker again. So I'm wondering if there was some sort of issue with the cable, a short, or a bad pin or whatever. This is a beautiful map here. So this one's by Blue Mage, called the White Mantle Gauntlet Arena. And as you can imagine, it's got a nice little space set up where you can pitch your players against other NPCs, monsters, etc. Man, the Snow Yeti is like the Snow Golem, the Snowlem, is one of my favorites. By the way, these maps are all available on the workshop. If you just search Dam Challenge or 'Tis the Season, you should find all these maps. Additionally, if you go into our Discord, the Dam Challenge section has all of these maps and the links to them on the workshop available. Blue Mage, I love how you kind of set up the arena to be multi-tiered. I think the most impressive thing about your map is the just beautiful articulation and design of the terrain. It looks like you've really, really mastered terrain, manipulation here. And you really kind of packed in a lot of different paints. So you have distinct little areas that, make it stand out. I really enjoyed looking at it from a top-down perspective because honestly, it's such a playable map. You know what I mean? Often in the Dam Challenge, we get maps that are much more artistic than they are playable. And while I have no problem with that, I know it's a challenge. It's an art challenge, right? That being said, I do appreciate a map that is usable for gameplay. So I do very much appreciate that, and I'm sure many people in our community will appreciate that. It's good to have a good arena, and there's not many snow-based ones. You just added an amazing one to the list. Blue Mage, how long do you think you took on this one to build it? Man, he's got so many snowballs. He is loaded. 2-3 hours? That's not bad at all. Yeah, let's start talking about ideas for the next challenge. Seeing as how it's the new year, we may want to lean into that. But I could also understand how a concept like that might be a little too abstract. So I'm open to whatever. Got a teddy bear picnic, chonker picnic, and the deer are standing guard. Man, even if we have done one before, I don't mind redoing them because often they were done so long ago. DA's gone through so many changes. We have new community members. Might be fun to readdress some. Under the Sea of Stars, home, before and after. Interesting ideas. Now remember, for us to pick and decide on one, we really have to kind of lean into one. So I'm open to people suggesting now, but ultimately we're going to be leaning into one of them and voting and kind of getting an idea where we're going. Home is nice. It does have a nice, simple ring to it. How about something like... When was the last time we did something trade or commerce related? I'll make sure I didn't miss any. That might be a good one. Caravan, shipment, trade. All of these are simple terms that can kind of really spring on a lot. I feel like trade is probably the best though, because it could be anything under that category. Anani, if you only just uploaded it, you could, if you haven't used it in a previous dam challenge, then you can use it in this one. Many people have just taken a map they've made before and entered it. Cave Beast! New Beginnings is a good one. I like that. Thematic with the new year. Oh, I like that idea. But I'm also vibing with the idea of trade. Ugh. Trading, trade, something like that. But let's keep the table open to suggestions here. I love this little area right here with the upper deck. Nice little use of the space, because you often will have like just a roof and nothing there. This way people can come out and watch the festivities, grab a drink or a snack, come get a hot cocoa, and come watch the arena. Why not? Quite fun. I like that there's just a little fort over here with a catapult, or I guess it's the superior siege engine. The trebuchet. Nope, that's not a trebuchet. It's a catapult. I don't see the counterweight. Sorry. Right? This fort looks like it'd be a good place to hold on to. I was excited for a moment. I thought it was a trebuchet. Also a catapult. No, there's just a joke on the internet. It's like a meme that catapult versus trebuchet, or was it Helly Poly against trebuchet? Like the trebuchet is the superior siege engine. Honestly, I love like all the little defenses and the catapult setup. Fire further and more accurately. And larger payload. The counterweight on a trebuchet was like huge. Huge. You could do some serious damage. Don't get me wrong, catapults are great. This is a lovely map. Honestly, I like a nice little encounter map, right? Naughty. Too funny. Here, let's go check out Highland Lass's map one more time. I want to look underground and make sure we don't miss that. And then we'll dive into our next segment, because I need to rush through the next few segments. I'm sorry, the Dam Challenge segment ran long. As you are aware, we had tons of technical difficulties that had to do with a bad cable. One of our HDMI cables, I traded out all my HDMI cables the other day when I got new ones and a new Xbox for Christmas. Traded out the splitter, traded out everything. I was like, if I'm going to get a new this, I might as well trade out everything, get it all new. And one of them was bad. One of the cables was faulty. Luckily, I had a spare in the bag, so I just traded it and it worked fine. Which one, Shlomo? The arena or the one that we're underground right now? Trebuchet was how we got to the moon? What? I thought the rocket like sling project got canceled. And then the guy who was trying to do it tried to take it to Iran because they were like, or Iraq or something, and they're like, hey, we'll finance this, but we also get to use it for rockets. And then the US government like shut it down hard. But he was like trying to launch like payloads into space with like a essentially a spinning like launcher. Or was it like a big gun? I can't remember, one or the other. Either one, both of them have been tried, and I would love to see more options for space travel. I wouldn't call him a weirdo. He was trying to get us to space in another way, but I think him taking his business to another country that was not, that was like in not necessarily the best place with the US at the time was probably not a wise move. Because it looked bad on him. He looked like a traitor, and they kind of branded him as such. Yeah, we'll take a token through. I'm trying to just figure out where this goes in. There. Hatch. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There's nothing here. Why would someone make a path to nowhere? Psych. But there's also like a spinning kind of like centrifuge type launcher that someone was working on where they would spin around the payload and then launch it out. Like a maglev tube was another thing that was it was kind of concepted, but it never really went anywhere. Oh, another thing that was like a concept that never went anywhere was a ship powered by nuclear payloads, and they'd have like a blast shield on the back, and they just launch out like a mini nuke, and then the mini nuke would explode and then hit the blast shield and push the ship. But apparently it had like a theoretical speed of near light speed, but it's banned because of like UN and like NATO rules around space and nuclear warheads in space and stuff like that. Amazing. Honestly, the idea was to take the vast nuclear arsenals of the world and turn them into science use. Start launching people into space instead, and to the vast, stars, instead of killing each other. Also the disruption of like satellites and communications and near Earth orbit. Like they'd obviously have to have a normal payload launch and get into orbit and then get away from Earth to start doing that. Three body problem. I've heard about that. It's on Netflix, right? Thank you. Thank you, Atlam, for helping out here. I often miss little bits of chat, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that gingerbread house. I'll have to check it out the next time I sub to Netflix. So what I do is I round robin all the streaming services. I'll like pick one and stream it for like a month or two. And then I cancel and switch to another. Because often like shows, they release them now in drip feed, like a week at a time, or, a movie will launch 6 months after it was in theaters or whatever. So it's really beneficial to just kind of swing back to it later. I mean, obviously, if you've got, unlimited money, it's not an issue for you. Having all these services, great. But years ago, Netflix and Hulu and all these things used to be a deal. And it was like you were saving money by using them. And now it's like if you have them all, it's like you might as well be paying for cable or satellite again. You have like 4 or 5, streaming services. Adds up really quick, and they're jacking up their prices constantly, right? Hey, look at this wheel of cheese. He's eating all the food. Anyway. Uh-oh. Be safe. Don't step on the magic circles. Very nice little dining hall in here. Honestly, I'm surprised I missed all this, and I apologize for not seeing it earlier. So I shortened the token a little bit, right? But the thing is a lot of our objects have that kind of... Everything, our objects are all based on a meter size rating. And this gets confused with the squares in DA. The squares are 5 feet, okay? They're always 5 feet. But objects are based on an internal measurement where we use a meter for scaling. So we scale up many objects so they look better from top down, right? The problem is when you get into a token and you drop into a map, often that isn't very helpful, right? So yeah, there's almost 3.5 feet for objects having different space and different parameters for sizing. Keep in mind, we do that as an artistic choice to make sure it's visible from a top down. You also have the ability to rescale any object. We don't affect your play scale at all, just the object scale itself, because we wanted it to be more visible. Honestly, the dining hall, really well decorated, looks fantastic. Really well done. Thank you so much again, Highland Lass. Sorry again that I missed this. I've also noticed our stock token height will not fit through many of the stairs when they're placed, so you have to shorten tokens to get them to fit by default. What's that little cookie for? Okay, let's move on to our next segment, which is damn questions. And I know that we had a question or two from our social media as well as from our audience. Lizzie, I know you had a question from earlier that you'd like to have addressed. Would you like to drop that question one more time, and we'll try and cover that? Excuse me. So, when you download a map from the Steam Workshop, Shlomo asks on Twitch, technical question, I just downloaded Trowel Hall and opened it up in Dungeon Alchemist. Do I need to also save as, or is it automatically saved? It's not saved locally on your machine until you save as and give it a location. Otherwise, it is and it isn't on your machine. It's kind of in a temporary state. Think of it as gray. And by that, I mean, you subscribed to it on the workshop and it downloaded it to your workshop folder, but that workshop folder is in an obscure location and the file is labeled weirdly. So it's not like something you could search for and find easily. That's why we always recommend, if you have a map that you're working with from the workshop and you want to keep or make edits to, save as locally. That way you have a copy on your machine where you know it's at. Okay, because if you open it from the workshop over and over again, it'll just open up a fresh version of that map that isn't the if you made any changes or updates to it. I'm sorry, what, Traveler? Chim, what do you mean? Okay, so question was, I am trying to make an underground temple with passageways connecting between rooms, but when I use the cave as a starting point, puts channels between the walls and the maps. I think I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to comprehend it. Give me just 1 second. Chim, did you say you had 3 total maps for your entry? You mean these? Or you mean on Discord? The map right before. Oh, they put them as threads. No wonder I didn't see them. I didn't even know they were there because they're a thread, and I thought those threads were tied into the thing above. I don't know why they created threads. That's a bummer. I totally missed those. That is definitely a new thing I've never seen anyone do, and then 2 people did it in a row. One of them does not look on the workshop, so I can't download it. Neither can anyone else. Yeah, the map isn't on the workshop, so that's an invalid entry. So one of them was an invalid entry. The other one was a valid entry, but I didn't see it because it was a thread. Yep, so because there was no images or anything, I didn't realize that that was actually a post. So I totally missed out on even seeing that map or judging it. I feel really bad. I'm going to load it up really quick. We'll take a look. But oh man, this stream has taken so much damn challenge time between all the bugs and these issues. So my apologies here. Hopefully the workshop is quick. But yeah, remember when you're posting maps for the dam challenge, please post them as a regular post. Threads are really supposed to be contained for like comments based on your post. So if someone had like a bunch to say about it and they had questions, they would put it in a thread. But the actual post itself, please put it as a regular post. That way I don't miss it. Honestly, those 2 were such small entries. When I was looking at it, I saw Tropism's win and Tropism's entry, and I assumed those were comments for Tropism's whatever and just skimmed over it. So that was my bad. Yep, we do have the instructions pinned at the top of the channel. If anyone's wondering how to enter, there's a pinned message saying, you know, the correct information. That way you can see, hey, how do I enter? That's how. Cool. That being said, yeah, screenshots, you know, the dam file, the map on the workshop, all of these are required. The dam file, I know that's kind of redundancy when it's on the workshop, but once in a while, someone will put it on the workshop and set it to like friends only or private and forget. So I like having a backup, and then I can look at it while I remind them to change it. Let's take a quick look at this map. We don't have much time because I need to dive into my other segments. Feel like I really flubbed today's stream between all the technical difficulties and missing a couple maps. It was my bad for sure. Don't want to blame the entry. However, entries do have to be following certain kind of parameters when they're set up. Otherwise, they may be missed. So, here's that tree from earlier, the illuminated one that people liked. Used again. Really great use of that tree. Honestly, I wanted to cancel the stream like twice earlier because it kept like My capture card just kept going blank, 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 and it would be live for about 5 seconds at a time. Like, who would want to watch that when, like, it's like watching the stream while you're blinking constantly, you know? Love the centerpiece and like the decoration of the table. Though I'm wondering, are they only going to eat a gingerbread house? Dig in, right? 'Tis the season. Do we have a basement? Did anyone eat far too much the last few days? I might have. I'm gonna brag about my Christmas dinner. So, Mrs. Mack and I, we like to do something distinct on Christmas dinner every year. Often people will do like a turkey or a ham, you know, and kind of keep it like that. But we like to pick something different every year. And last year we did, I think, a ham, and then the year before that we did like a chicken, and we do something a little bit different every year. Anyway, so this year I wanted a roast. I hadn't had a roast in a while. We have a crock pot. We got a big roast and got a bunch of veggies and cut it all up. I seared the roast on, it was Christmas Eve morning, and pan seared it with a little bit of butter and some seasoning. And then we put that in the crock pot with some water, seasoning, and veggies, and just let that cook all day. We had that for dinner Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. And it pretty much just took care of itself. It was so good. Fondue is a good one. We did that a few years ago. Steak and fondue was so good. You're a lard golem? Honestly, that sounds terrifying. Mainly because, like, A, you're like probably a fire hazard. B, you would clog all my pipes. Man, I don't want you clogging my pipes. And C, like, how do you clean up just a ton of lard? Like, it's probably the messiest of golems. What did you all eat for your Christmas dinner? Let's hear about it. If you had a Christmas dinner, if not, if you did a special dinner this year or a holiday dinner of any kind, let's hear about it as well. I would love to hear about your family traditions and things you like to eat for your special occasions, even if it was a different holiday altogether. Crown roast. I think next year we'll probably do like some steaks or maybe some ribs. This is a beautiful, beautiful designed little home. It's all decorated and ready. Santa's on the roof raising such a clatter. It's a cute little house, huh? Alrighty. So we're going to move on to the question segment. I want to answer Liz's question. Liz, I apologize. I believe you've asked how to make a tunnel between two rooms underground. Is that what you're trying to do? First and foremost, you said you were using the cave environment, which I think that can be troublesome. Okay. Using the cave environment is nice, but keep in mind you won't have any above ground if you want that at all, right? So trying to make an underground temple with passageways connecting between rooms. But when I use cave as a starting point, it puts channels between the walls and map. So you mean those little divots between the walls? By the way, you can fill that up using the terrain tool. So like, let's say, first off, let's address that. We're going to go into a new map. How I would probably address this. I'm just going to use two random rooms. Okay. Let's go to Crypt. We're going to just generate a room, right? Excuse me? Where are your walls? Oh, they're there. And then I'm going to generate another room adjacent. And I'm assuming one of the complaints that Lizzie has is these walls have this little ledge around the outside when it generated. So first off, you can go into the raise cave area tool and you can just bring those in nice and tight and seamed. The longer you hold it there, the closer it gets. The closer it gets to it, the less overall rock it can add, so it takes a little bit longer as it gets in closer to those areas. Okay, so let's hurry and do this to seam this in nice and tight around the walls. This is a personal preference. You don't have to do this, but keep in mind when you export, if you have the walls like this, they may kind of cover up some things down below depending on your export method or your angle. Now, I believe Lizzie said she wanted a kind of a cave between these that was like natural, right? So at this point, I would just use two things. First off, the remove wall tool, maybe delete a couple walls on this side. Boom. And then also a couple on this side. Or actually, let's put them up here. Maybe it joins up here, like an S pattern. Now I'm going to go into the cave tool. Notice here there is missing wall. Missing wall. Okay. I'm going to go into the cave tool. You've got raised caves, carved caves, erase cave ceilings, and redraw cave ceilings. We're going to do carved cave. I'm going to set this to be roughly the size of this opening. And there you have it. We carved a cave between these two rooms, relatively easy. If you wanted this to feel like it was a broken through, like the wall was broken, you could leave the wall there and put a broken wall so you could still see. Heck, you could even have a door here. So this is kind of one way to address that. Now, if you wanted to actually build like an actual passage, just like a hallway, let's say I wanted a hall going from here that went over and joined in this right there. Okay. Oops. So again, we can just take the terrain tool, raise it up, turn it up, and just seam this in nice and tight. So it's a nice clean cavity. Your players, if you're in a virtual tabletop, they won't see anything beyond these walls. So this is kind of a moot point for people who use virtual tabletops because the wall blocks all line of sight for them. So really, it's only you as the DM that sees this in most cases, if you're playing at least with that method. But if it's a printed map, I could understand why you want a solid barrier of some sort. This takes a moment to go around and seam up. The devs like that slant because when you export, it's easier to see the walls and everything inside. So essentially now we have, which is, a method that is just a clean hallway. We could put a double door here. Another double door. Heck, we could even delete this room if you really wanted to. And the cool thing about this, When you delete this room, it leaves a very clean cut hallway that's just all stone, because you started with a room, seamed it all up with the terrain tool, and then deleted it. So now you still have a hallway, but it's also clean and hewn, like it'd been carved out instead of a natural formation. Lizzie, I hope you're still present. I'm so sorry we got a little distracted with that last map I didn't notice about. If you're still here, I'd love to know if this helps you out at all. If it doesn't, please let me know and we can try and address it. Oh. Okay. Have any other questions come in? Lizzie, did that help you out? There are cave wall elements, but I've often just prefer to use the rock over the cave wall. But keep in mind, yeah, you could draw like a... We could just generate a room here, right? With nothing. Just like only floors. No walls. So you have this pathway. And again, we can use the terrain tool to raise the cave area and seam it into that edge where it feels like a nice carved cave, you know, hand carved or whatever, hewn. You have a nice little footpath. If you wanted to, there are some walls in here that are natural. You could go to rock. These ones here tend to be okay. And you can just hit plus and just add it in this inside. But yet again, this here, I prefer just the cave walls at this point if I have a choice. Keep in mind when you raise this up, there's going to be a roof or a ceiling, but if you're in a token view, it'll have a much higher wall because it goes up to the edge. You don't even see the cave. Here you do, though. So it just looks like, I don't know, those rock walls have like a weirdness to them, right? It has like two splits. Okay, let's delete one side so you can compare. So this is the natural looking carved from stone, and this is the rock walls. They just don't seem really well because of the bump. Pike, unfortunately, there is not a way to group and move objects together unless they're on top of another object. So like if you place objects on a table or a rug, something like that, they can be moved together. But there's no copying and pasting of groupings of objects or, you know, saving a group of objects and moving them between maps, etc. Something like that will likely be addressed at least in our next update, hopefully, if not the one after. Let's go to a new map. I have a couple questions from Discord I want to address while we're waiting. So these are from Low Key, directed at me directly here. Hope you and your family had a Merry Christmas. As for my questions, I want to ask you the same that I've asked Sack and Asmodeus in your previous streams. What features or themes in Dungeon Alchemist do you find most useful when creating maps? I personally love the cave biome the most. I find a lot of gameplay ends up in caves or dungeons, and it's very well suited for that. Granted, you do end up at buildings and cities and towns, but that's my favorite. At least I think Dungeon Alchemist excels really well with that. Next question. What future features or themes are you most especially looking forward to? I am very excited for us to get high seas because I know so many community members want the ability to build ships. And, you know, not just water ships, but airships and astral ships. I think that is something that our community wants more than anything right now. There's some vocal people in our community who want different things and different groups that are kind of keen on different aspects of DA being focused on. But I would think right now our community is just eager to get at the shipbuilder. There's a large portion of our community that's eager to get at object rotation. Some people don't care. Some people could take it or leave it. Others want it so bad, they're willing to not use the application until it's back or until this feature is available. You know what I mean? So I like kind of leaning towards the features that our community wants most, mainly because those are the things I hear the most. Our community concerns, complaints, feedback, suggestions, all lean to those two things: object rotation and ship building. I need it. Hey, see you later, Cobra Max. Have a good one. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready, 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 ready. Pike, it's something we're considering. It's just not as easy to implement as, typing it out, one would say. It takes a lot of work on the back end to get done just right. And I think we also want to implement a few other features before we focus on that. One of them being the ability to rotate an object on any axis. But I do know what you're wanting: grouping objects, saving the group of objects, copying and pasting it around the map, copying and paste it between different maps would be amazing. You could make a prefab design of a house and just stamp it and be done. You could have a prefab ship you made, or a campsite, or any number of things. Trust me, I understand the benefit of this. One thing we're working on in the back end, but I haven't really seen it in action, is called variant creation. We do have a tool for this built into DA for the devs to use. And you see it all the time in your maps when you place an object that's pre-decorated, right? Like a table that has all these items on it, all these doohickeys. Notice before I place this object, if I press tab, it shifts and changes all of the items on top of it. That's called a variant. That's what we call a variant, at least internally. So we pre-decorate this table with a bunch of variants, save them, and when you generate a room or place this object, it'll place a different variant pretty much every time, giving you some diversity until you at least hit the end of that chain of variants, right? So we are working on, and have been testing for some time, releasing this feature to you where you could save a grouping of objects and share it on the workshop, or stamp it between maps, or stamp it multiple times in a map, etc. That being said, implementing it correctly and easily is tricky. So, and right now the devs are highly focused on rotating objects. That is their primary thing right now, is getting objects to rotate on any axis, not just, this, and not just, being able to raise and lower it, but to be able to rotate it on any angle. So I think after we get this feature rolled out where we can rotate, they'll likely be focusing on variant creation or variant saving. We did some testing in our community about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and then we stopped testing, and I was hoping it would be rolling out with Fun with Objects Part 1. Then Fun with Objects got delayed, and then this feature's been put on the back burner because other features got higher priority, things like roofing and multi-level. So until they kind of knock out their to-do list, I think they want to get a few features kind of foundationally secure before they work on this. So in the meantime, it'll probably be a while until we get that. Honestly, and that's the thing, DA does crash from time to time. That's the nature of early access. And especially when you start downloading stuff from the workshop, you're essentially modding DA. Have you ever played a game where you added mods to it? Mods are fun, but the more mods you add, the more increasing amount of crashes and bugs you experience, right? So while assets from the workshop are amazing and enrich your experience as a map maker, some of them are poorly optimized, run very badly, and can cause your computer to crash if you don't have a powerful machine, if you have just like an average laptop. So we encourage you to be smart when you're looking at assets on the workshop. Look for assets that are oversized, avoid them. Only download assets as you need them. Do not subscribe to mountains and a massive library of assets. They're on the workshop. You can access them anytime you have an internet connection. You don't need to store them locally. What happens when you do is all that needs to preload before DA can load. And that can cause DA to run very slowly because it needs to be confirmed and verified before DA can load from Steam. So essentially, when you boot up DA and you have 15 gigabytes of assets, all of that needs to preload into your RAM and be verified before it can authenticate and load up. Most people, when they have a mod for a game, it's only like a couple hundred megabytes, not 15 gigabytes worth of hundreds of individual mods. Oh, I know, Random Ladybird. That's why I encourage you to favorite things, that way you can find them later. But if you have assets and you're noticing DA is booting slowly or running slowly, the cure-all is to just unsub from everything. I'll often go onto the workshop, right? Just looking at this tab in Steam or in the Steam Workshop browser on the internet, and I'll go into my subbed items and I unsubscribe from all. Now, if you don't have unlimited data or your internet is kind of prohibitive, you may want to avoid doing this because it'll re-download everything that you're subbed to, like that you uploaded automatically. So let's say you've uploaded 1,000 assets and you unsubscribe from all of them. Those 1,000 assets will resubscribe regardless because that's how Steam works. Because you uploaded the asset, you have to be subbed to it forever. And then it'll re-download them. It's silly, right? This unsub from all should just unsub from everything that you didn't upload. But whatever. Anyway, it's kind of a good catch-all, though, because it's outside of DA, you can do this, and it usually fixes the problem. I've had people come into the Discord complaining, saying, DA won't load, it won't boot, my computer's really powerful, what's going on? They got into DA, got obsessed with the workshop, and subbed to 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 assets, and now DA runs horribly because of all the modifications they've made to it. So definitely take that into account when you're trying to download workshop assets. Okay, another question. If the DA devs gave me a chance to pick one theme, one feature, and one object set to add, what would you choose? The one thing I would add right now is transparent exports. That's probably the thing I get asked about the most lately. Once we added multi-levels, people were really excited about it, but I think some people, it fell short of their expectations. Mainly because they were hoping it would work with mods in Foundry or other tools more fluidly, which things like the levels mod for Foundry is very well respected, used mod. The problem with the levels mod is it assumes that all of your images have transparent layers. Okay, so meaning the image has to be a WebP or a PNG and have transparent layers outside of the room. Meaning you're going to have to take your map that you made, that's 7 floors that you spent hours on and then exported, put it into a photo editor and edit out the terrain out of every floor above the first floor and make it a transparent PNG or a WebP. That way the floors are still visible, the roofing's still visible, but everything outside of that room is not visible on that level because it depends on the first floor's terrain. That first floor is the backdrop, the foundation of everything. And then everything above it is just kind of like sliced layers that show more and more of the bottom below. So I know many of you want the roofing layer to just be roofing and transparent around. And many of you want the upper levels to be the upper floors and their balconies and then just transparent around. And that's it. That is, I think, kind of the feature a lot of people want with multi-level. Because it will speed up layering and stacking these floors into a single scene, which is what things like the levels module supports. We went for the stock method, which Foundry supports scenes, and each scene would be, or Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, same difference. They support separate scenes or layers, and each of those would be a new level. You'd have to just jump between them or automate moving or loading between them when your players get to certain spaces, i.e. a staircase, a ladder, whatever, a hatch. Unfortunately, though, I have asked for this numerous times. I know our community has asked for it. We got asked like over a year ago some are like personal picks, and I put that on my list to the devs and sent it to them. They're like, yeah, we'll try and make that work. Time and time again, this feature has been pushed back, and I have been, let's just say, almost to a level belligerent and almost, I don't know, maybe angry. I have pushed and pushed to a point where it almost risks my job, because I want this feature so bad for our community, and I want you to have it so you can get the best and most out of multi-level and all you expected from it. But at the same time, I have to push within my limits because I like my job and I like to eat and have a roof over my head and that kind of stuff. So hey, Roll Monster, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. But if I had to pick one feature that I got to pick and it was guaranteed, it would be transparent exports above floor 1. Meaning everything outside, and this just should be a checkbox you could pick in this export menu, because then you could do either or. Do you want everything above floor 1 to be transparent outside of rooms and, roofing? Yeah. Okay, good to go. Done. Then you export it. And honestly, yeah, I do try to advocate for community needs and community suggestions constantly, because I see and hear all the complaints and pushback from our community of things that don't work or they wish were different constantly, because I'm the relay point. I am the pin cushion, the punching bag that a lot of you talk to before it ends up being passed on to the devs, and then I take and filter that and turn it into digestible lists of information that is lacking all the anger from some people, and then is something that the devs are more inclined to read through and react to. That being said, I know I've been rambling about this for like 10 minutes. That feature is like top-notch priority for me, for sure. I'm always making it happen or trying to make it happen. Just like a month or two ago, our lead dev said to me that he was going to be I got a notification that it was moved on our Trello board, our internal dev board, and I asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, we're going to push this back. And I'm like, please don't. This thing is one thing that everybody wants. I get a question about it once a week, maybe 2 or 3 times, if not more sometimes. So I'm hoping they'll find time to incorporate it with Fun with Objects too. Let's see here. If I could pick one object set. I haven't really thought about that. Most of the objects I want are available. I haven't really found anything that I haven't, or haven't found something that I was looking for. You know what I mean? Moving on, let's see if I could add one tool. One tool would be a toolbar at the bottom of DA, similar to like MMOs and RPG games, where it has like slot 1 through 10, and then you can drag whatever tool you want to that, whatever object. So you can be like, hey, I really like the collision toggle. I want to drag it down to here so it's on a toolbar instead of in a menu that's 2 steps deep. Or maybe there's an object you use a lot, or a token you like, or a rooms type that you enjoy. You can just drag it down there and it's boom, it's in the toolbar, and then you can drag it off the toolbar and use it instead. Oh, I get it, Island Lass. But I also, try my best to make sure community feedback is heard, passed on, and implemented. You know what I mean? That's a big part of my job. I feel like I'm not really doing my job when the things I'm passing on aren't getting implemented. So, also a hunter of bugs for sure. I definitely tend to be a magnet for all the bugs and issues that can be found in development. I don't know why. Okay, I've got to move on from the question segment. I think we've covered far too much today in that. We'll change it. We'll go to the workshop segment. I've got a couple maps to look at while we're covering that. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's scrap the workshop segment. We'll go to the feature segment. I was going to show some ruins maps, but I'd rather. Okay, you know what? We'll scrap the feature segment. We'll go with the workshop segment. Sorry. Executive decision just made here. So I did pick out some ruins maps prior to the stream to take a look at. That pipe bug still exists where they misalign. They offset. Can you report it again through a map with the issue through the feedback menu? And I'll bring it up again with the devs. I could have sworn I thought that that was being addressed. Or it's on the to-do, one or the other. Probably that. That's probably the case. So I went through and just searched for things that were like ruins, abandoned, etc. So here we have like an abandoned graveyard, which I imagine a graveyard after it gets full, with time, it gets less maintenance, less care. People visit it less because, you know, not many people who are alive remember the dead from hundreds of years ago, right? So abandoned graveyards probably become a site for all sorts of nefarious activities, whether maybe someone homeless moves in or bandits take over or a cult is doing stuff or people are robbing graves. I imagine an abandoned graveyard has all sorts of implications for gameplay. Thank you for all the likes, TikTok. Much appreciated. I love how the shadow is cast into the pool. You know, that's a really good question, Tropism. I think something like that, if we addressed it to Whim in Discord, something like, hey, I noticed we have this wall and it has rubble, and we have this wall and it has rubble, something like a picture kind of guide saying this wall, this rubble. How come we don't have brick rubble or this rubble, or, you know, we don't have all these different types as a rubble pile to match? Nor do we not have broken walls of every type of wall. So it might be something to just politely remind him about. It might go a long way. That, and also if it's not on our suggestion board already, upvote it if it is and comment on it, and, you know, bring the attention to the Discord so people can upvote it. But if it's not on our suggestion board, then create a new post and then others can see it and upvote it, comment on it. Hopefully, you know, get us to that point. I do love all the detritus and rubble that we offer, and I do think it would be great if we had abandoned walls of every type and rubble that matched all the various floors and walls, etc., ceilings, roofing, etc. Snowy roofs possible, Lizzie. You just need to turn snow weather on. So look at this roof. You go into any map you have, you just change it from no weather to snow. Adds a thin layer of snow on any map you have. Then it's on the roof. More types of rubble would definitely be great. I concur. Let's go into another abandoned map. By the way, you can winterize. I know I'm using that term incorrectly for all of us tech nerds and mechanical nerds out there, but it works perfectly here. You can winterize. When map making, winterizing a map makes sense. You can take any map that is just a map for, you know, a city, a town, tavern, anything, and then turn it into a snow weather map by going into the terrain tab and then selecting change terrain. The terrain menu and then the change terrain tab, and then change it from no weather to snow. Keep in mind, this will put snow on top of everything, objects, etc. Notice how there's some on the tree. So if you place out an object, it will have snow on it. Well, typically. Bollard stone, I guess. What the heck? Let's try a chest or a basket. Yeah, none of these seem to have snow on them. I don't know what I did. Oh, because we're on the second floor. Bugged it out. Nope, I completely destroyed this. What is going on? There's something on here that's big. What is that? The cloud. Oh, I can't select under that cloud for some reason. And that thing is on top of the cloud. Too funny. That's why it won't get snow. It's got to be on the ground. See? There's like a thin layer of cloud there, and it wouldn't put snow on it. Too funny. Anyway. Let's open up another map from the workshop that has some rubble in it. Okay, let's talk about our themes, okay? For the dam challenge, what are the lists again, really quick? I think I'm just going to pick one. What were the suggestions, Atlam? Laboratory, Fae-related, real place, under the sea of stars, home, before and after, trade, new beginnings. Do any of these jump out to any of y'all? I like trade and I like home. I like laboratory, but I feel like confining our group to a single style of build might make it so we have less entries. Often people tend to avoid themes that they don't understand or have no use for in their campaign, or are a kind of a tightened lens on the subject matter. Yeah, this map is a great map. Really well done. I know it's not very a New Year style, and lab I think would be better than laboratory, but I'm open to it. It's not that I'm against it. I also just kind of like before and after, or like new beginnings, both sound interesting too. Well, whatever we're gonna do, let's make a choice. Part of me, I suggested trade earlier, so I'm not going to lean towards that to be favoritist towards my own suggestion. So we've got a couple for before and after. Got a couple for trade. I guess we're going with lab. The votes have spoken. It's hard to do a poll across 6 platforms, Cave Beast. Seisu? Why are you the way you are? Someone has to be you. It looks like before and after is taking a lead because it's up to 4 now. Well, unless we get another vote here in the next minute or so, then it'll be before and after. But Seisu dropped trade because he knew that it would bring it up to even with lab. Your cat votes for trade. I don't think cat votes count, unfortunately. Cats are really cool, but their votes don't count. You know how I know this? Because every time my cat tries to vote for more cat food, I tell him no. His vote doesn't count. Post-apocalyptic theme, dang. That'd be interesting. All right, so let's go with before and after. All right. Nope, I'm picking it right now. Because we're already past the time for the stream. So we're going with before and after as our theme for the damn challenge. Fantastic. Congrats again to Chim for winning the damn challenge, the 'Tis the Season damn challenge. And thank you everyone for tuning in, checking out some amazing maps. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. I'm glad we were able to root it out on stream so I don't have to spend all weekend figuring it out. It is weird that one cable was bad, but you know, live and learn and make sure you have extra cables. What's the name of this map? Outpost of Forgotten Hope. Come let us adore Chim. I also wanted to show this underwater ruin too because it's really cool. Outpost of Forgotten Hope. But yeah, if you search Outpost of Forgotten, you'll find it. Alrighty. One more map we're going to look at and wrap it up. Come on, Mappy boy. You got this. Ugh. This one here is Underwater Ruins. And Stacy Rico, to be more precise, has done a great job at convincing us that this is all underwater using a combination of lighting and filters. In the light panel, you can select a blue light filter. And then when you have animals that look like they're floating, you know, in the air, it makes you feel like they're in the water. It's a great way to immerse yourself in an underwater environment without actually having to make the map underwater. You know, it'd be fire a section for all the maps that join the challenge. I have a section for that on our Discord where everyone who enters, you can see their maps. And then I have a link to a collection on Steam of all the winners. So here's a link to our Discord channel with all the past entries as soon as we started tracking them for the Damn Challenge. Because the Damn Challenge kind of started as an impromptu joke on the stream and then evolved into a real thing. And at first, there wasn't much record keeping, so to speak. That first link I sent goes right to the Discord channel where we have every entry that's been tracked for like the last 3 years. And then this link actually shows all the winning maps in a collection. So here you go, Caillou. You can check those links out that guide you towards all the entries that we've ever tracked and also all the winning maps. All right. It's time to wrap it up, fam. Had a lot of fun hanging out with you today, Damn fam, but unfortunately we do need to end the stream. Thank you for everyone for hanging out. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. The Damn show was a success despite the technical difficulties we ran into today. I appreciate you all being patient while we sorted it out and fixed it. Our next stream will be Monday, Mapmaker Monday. That's at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UTC. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. That stream runs for about 2 hours. And during that stream, we'll be working on and wrapping up, likely, the Temple Ruins build. Another ruined map that I was planning to showcase today, but we didn't get into it. We had to cut a whole segment. Sorry about that. I will, Trim. Thank you. I have a project in mind that I'm going to be working on soon. I want to make like a cabinet for all of my 3D printers and my laser cutter or laser etcher and my vinyl plotter. So they like have spaces where they can be stored and then also have like ventilation and lighting. And then I'm going to put them on like cabinet rollout trays so they can roll out and I can like get behind them and do things, feed stuff into them. Anyway, that's a project for another day. But this map I'm working on Mondays. It's called Temple Ruins. We've been working on it for about 3 weeks now, hoping to wrap it up this next stream and then share it on the workshop for everyone to enjoy. We'll be picking a new theme and then jumping into a new map the Monday after. Thanks, Chim. I appreciate it. The next Saturday, yes, indeed, is the interview with Wim. My apologies for not saying anything until now. I've been so much going on with the holidays, and then today we had the technical difficulties that just slipped my mind. So next Saturday, the 3rd of January, our first Damn show of the year, we'll have a very special guest, Wim de Heer, the creator of Dungeon Alchemist, our lead artist and one of our lead developers. So if you have questions about Dungeon Alchemist development, you want to learn more about it, peek behind the curtains and see some cool teasers and information, it's usually best to tune in streams when one of our lead devs is in, because you can learn a lot about what they're currently working on that they normally won't even share with me. So I encourage you all to tune into that stream, mark it in your calendar. That's 12 p.m. on January the 3rd. That's 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. UTC. That stream runs for roughly 2 hours. Wim will be a guest for about a half hour, 45 minutes in the very, very beginning of the stream. We run a quick intro and itinerary and a news segment, and then Wim will be on. So within like the first 5 to 10 minutes, we'll have him on. So that'll be next Saturday for anyone interested. Remember, the streams with the Damn show, it's kind of difficult and weird now with all the changes, but the Damn Challenge is now a segment in the Damn show instead of it being its own entire stream. But the damn show's segments, they alternate week after week, primarily just the interview and the damn challenge segments, because it's hard to get an interview every week. Also, I wouldn't expect people to be present every week for those. So we're doing interviews every other week, right? And then the damn challenge is still every other week. So they're on opposite Saturdays with each other. So we still will do our news segments, workshop, all that's fun, feature segments, questions, etc. But just on alternating weeks is an interview, and on alternating weeks is the damn challenge. Well, I appreciate the suggestion, but at this time, there really is no plans for us to offer full 3D exports of any kind for any virtual tabletop, even our own. Dungeon Alchemist wasn't designed with 3D export in mind. There's 3 categories of people who want 3D export for Dungeon Alchemist maps. Game developers who want to build their own games using our map making tools and use a simple to use map editor that they can use in their game design, right? In development. Second is 3D printing. People who want to build maps in Dungeon Alchemist and then 3D print them as tiles that they can then paint or whatever and use for in-game, in-person play. And the third is people who want Dungeon Alchemist maps to export as 3D to use with 3D virtual tabletops like Tabletop Simulator or Tailspire or the like. First and foremost, there really isn't a market for that. Most, if not all 3D, virtual tabletops are inclusive, meaning it's kind of their own system and you got to build maps within them. Tabletop Simulator is the exclusion to the rule, but it also isn't like a true 3D. It's like augmented reality. On top of all this, Dungeon Alchemist wasn't designed with this in mind. So our assets are essentially kind of smoke and mirrors. They're really simple shapes, squares, cubes, etc., with brilliant detailed wallpaper on top. Like if you took a flat object and put a brilliant image on top of it and made it look 3D. It's an optical illusion. At the end of the day, if this file could be downloaded, it would just be a bunch of gray blobs without any intricate details or textures or movement or anything like that. Color. So it's not designed for 3D export. We would essentially have to trash Dungeon Alchemist in its current state and redesign it from the ground up to support what is currently a niche feature in the market. There is very few 3D virtual tabletops. Most of them are inclusive, meaning you have to build maps within their own system like Tailspire. Or, this new feature is so new, it's hard for the average computer to run or the average internet to handle. So while I love this idea and it would be great to have it someday, Dungeon Alchemist in its current state probably will never support it. You can't export Tailspire for 3D print or for game design, and you cannot import Dungeon Alchemist maps into Tailspire. That's also because it's an inclusive system. They want you to build your map within Tailspire, all within its own ecosystem. So you build the map and you play within their enclosed ecosystem. It's not so much that it's not worth the work. It's just we're a tiny team, man. We're an indie team. At the end of the day, not every developer out there and studio and publisher is a big, EA level company. We have less than 10 people in a limited budget that was all realized from a Kickstarter. So essentially, we have plans and promises to our existing community that we have to fulfill on from our Kickstarter, which we don't want to deviate from those. And secondly, at this point, to do that would require so much monumental change. It would be like Ship of Theseus level changes. We would have to rip gut DA from the ground up and change every aspect of it in order to support this. And I just don't think there's enough manpower or time on our team right now to even consider it. Foundry does not support 3D imports as a stock feature. No. It does not. You require a module from a developer called Ripper. It's called 3D Canvas, and it's a paid module. You have to subscribe to his service or his Patreon to get access to it. So Foundry by default doesn't have 3D gaming support. And we do not import into Foundry with 3D. Our maps are top down. They're either flattened top down or a 3D perspective image. At no point is it a 3D file, like a 3D printable file. Anyway. Hey, no worries, Raul. I honestly, I understand why you want it. Like, I do 3D printing. I have 3 3D printers. Like, it would be amazing to do this. But at the same time, I also see, man, I would never want to 3D print this and then pull out all the supports and paint it. It would be so much work to do. So for some aspects, I see it could be very practical and others not so much. Screen share is always fun. I love streaming Dungeon Alchemist to players over, Teams or, Discord, etc. Whatever you have that'll work for you. And you can always hide the user interface and just stream this view to have a 3D perspective at different times for your players. Alrighty, everyone. I'm going to wrap up the stream because I am hungry. I need some lunch and I got some other work to do today. And I also want to try and relax on a Saturday. How about you? Hope you had an amazing time in the stream today. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad and then we're going to wrap it up with a tight little bow, okay? Thank you for attending, everyone.
But can it handle curves?
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 Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map-making application for role-playing games, now comes with both round and diagonal walls. Create amazing professional maps for your players in seconds. Get it now on the Steam store.
All right, thanks again, everyone, for attending. And a quick reminder, Dungeon Alchemist is on sale for the Steam Winter Sale, 20% off through, I think, January 3rd. So you only have a couple more days to participate, get a good deal on Dungeon Alchemist. So if you've been kind of sitting on the fence, deciding whether to get it, make sure you try out our demo, see how well Dungeon Alchemist runs on your computer, give it a little test drive, and then grab it at 20% off while it's such a good deal. Save some money. Or if you already own a copy, maybe gift one to a friend or family member who is interested in starting their own campaign or just likes map making in general. Thanks again, everyone, for participating in today's Damn Show, or our Dungeon Alchemist map making show that we host every Saturday. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Boy, yep, next Saturday, Wim will be joining us. Remember that. Hopefully everything will be working fine. No technical difficulties. We'll see you next Saturday. But until then, I'll be on live Monday with a map making stream. We'll be working on this map that you saw on the screen just before we ended. Anyway, thank you for being here. Mac out. Bye.